Welcome back, guys. So we're going to continue from where we stopped. As you can remember from the last video, which is part 3 of unit 2, we're discussing this formatting, and I'm going to then show you more examples of how you can use formatting in this part 4. So let's go. Here's another example. In this case, we decided to read two numbers, A and B. And after reading the two numbers, we kind of played around with the formatting to show you how you can display an output that looks cool. So let's step through this very quickly. As you can see, I didn't use right line here. I just used right. And it doesn't make much difference. The only difference is that the cursor is going to remain on the same line, like I explained in the previous video. So A equals is going to be displayed. Then whatever the user enters on the read line, we get converted into an integer. Again, look at this conversion technique. It's just like the previous one. The previous one says convert dots to int 32. This one does exactly the same job. Convert dots to int. So if I have a variable called int a, I can say int dot pass, and it can pass whatever is here, which is a string in this case. It's going to pass it into an integer, and that's going to be stored in A. We do the same thing for B, and now we want to just display A plus B equals a result. We also want to display A plus times B equals a result. So how do we do that? We use this formatting strings. Position 0, we put A there. Position 1, we put B there. And position 2, we now put the expression A plus B, which is calculated in real time. So, and the same thing goes for this one. We put A, B, and we put the expression A times B. And here's an example of converting to double. So let's say we are reading another variable called F. We can say double F equals double the pass, which is going to pass whatever string comes in through the user's standard input to double. And again, we can then have another formatting that looks like this. Just playing around with the formatting. 0, which is A, times 1, which is position B, divided by position 2, which is now F, equal to is going to appear on your output display. Then this expression then follows, and the expression is also evaluated in real time, and the value is plugged in. So please type in this code, play around. If you run into any errors, speak to your tutors. And if you execute this code fragment, these are the things you're going to get if you put A as 5 and B as 6. So let's look at conditional statements. All right. So these are if statements, and I would like to take my time on this one and kind of show you. I'm going to just drag my Visual Studio around. Okay. So, yes, so we want to see if statements and how they work. So, so let's see a simple if statement. Again, the whole idea is the same as you have it in Python. The only thing that has changed now is that the syntax has changed. So it's not like elif like in Python. Now it's completely different. So we're going to look at the syntax. So let's say I'm just going to use some variables to explain this. Let's say int A equals 5, and I say int B equals say 3. All right, then I have two variables. The two variables are underlined in green because I haven't used them in an expression yet, but they are declared. So let's write a simple statement that checks if A is greater than B and displays A greater than B, and else displays something else. So the if statement structure here is if, which is going to be in your reading. You can look at the structure of the syntaxes in your reading. If A is greater than B, then you need curly brackets. So every block in C#, we have a block like if statement, for loops, while loops. They all have curly brackets to indicate the start of the block and the end of the block. So if A is greater than B, what do I want to do? I want to display, I will say console dot write line. And I'll just display a string to say A is greater than B. All right, and that's it. Now, it's a simple if statement, all right? And I'm going to run this first, and I'll show you how you can put in an else part. So I just F5'd it, and as you can see, it's running. A is greater than B. That's perfect because we know 5 is greater than 3. So I'm going to go back to my code fragment. And now, what if that is not the case? You need an else statement. So the else structure starts exactly after the curly bracket of the if, like this. Give it a second. Yep, like this, else. And the else is another block, so you need 2 new curly brackets for the else. Then you put your else statement here. Some developers always like to arrange their code like this. It's still correct. You can put your else only on one separate line and then put your curly bracket open, curly bracket close separately like this. So let's put the print statement again, which is our console.write line. I will now say B is not greater than A. All right. So in this case, let's make B 13 and test and see that that works perfectly well. I'm going to F5 it again. As you can see, it shows B is not greater than A because we use 13 and 5. So it works perfectly well. Again, please, by all means, pause this video, try it again and again until you get what I'm getting. All right. So what if I want to check if A is actually equal to B? So I would also check, in that case, I need an else if. Remember else if from Python? An else if here is just combining the else with another if. So I can say else if like this, then I can have another condition, B greater than A. B greater than A. So I can say B is greater than A, and the final condition is now when they are equal. So I can have else for that, and I can have another statement, not that, excuse me. I can have another statement that then confirms that they are equal. So scenario 1, you're comparing 2 variables. The one could be greater than the other could be greater than the first one. Then both of them can be equal. We've gone through this in Python, but now we're just writing it in C#. So else, I can write finally, these numbers are equal. All right, there goes our example. Looks complete. I can run it. I'm going to F5 it. So give it a second. Yep. So it shows B is greater than A because we are using B as 13 and A as 5. So I'm just going to turn the 2 to 13 so that we can see the else part being fired. So the else part is going to get fired, meaning it's going to get triggered, or meaning it's going to get executed. And as you can see, it's executed. It shows these numbers are equal. So please try out a lot of problems. Remember the problem that we had that has to do with grading systems, where you check if the mark is between one grade and one grade, and it's so. In fact, so this is a complete problem. So let's look at this problem quickly. All right, let me get my notepad and show you the problem. All right, so this problem that says, we call it the grading system problem. All right, that says if the mark is between 70 and 75 and 100, then it's supposed to be grade is A. I'm just going to make up some ranges now. 60 and 74, it should be a B. Then 50 and 59, let's say, it's going to be a C. And less than or equal to 49 is supposed to be an F. Okay, that's the grading system problem. So let's write a quick program using C# to read into a mark of a student and then check what the grade is. So I'm going to move faster on that one because based on first principle, I agree. I would understand that you understand how this works now. So I'm going to go int mark, because that's my variable, equals, I can say int dot parse because I want to read the mark for the student. Console dot read line, that's where the mark is. The user is entering it. However, I may want a prompt before that so that the user can know what to enter. I'm going to say please enter your mark. Okay. All right. That's good. Now that I have the mark, I want to compare the ranges as per my algorithm. So I'll say if mark is greater than or equal to, remember the relational operators or comparison operators I shared with you in the last video. If it's greater than or equal to 75, all right, excuse me, and I also want to check if it's less than or equal to 100, because if the mark is 105, I don't want it saying it's a distinction. I want it to display an error. So I'm going to say and this is and in this language, mark is less than or equal to 100. In C#, all of your conditions have to put in a closed parenthesis, and that's my if statement. I can then start my block with the curly brackets like I explained. So block open, I know the grade is A, so I'll say console dot write line, and I'll say grade is A. All right, end of line. Don't forget end of line every time. That is done. However, I have many more grades to consider, so I'm going to have my else, like I said, and the else, again, it's always comes with a curly bracket open, curly bracket close for the block. So that's my else. Because my else still has conditions, I have to consider grades like B and C before I generalize the rest on else. So I'm going to go else if. I'm going to copy all of this. Just copy paste is one of the greatest invention. Saves you time. I'm going to copy paste, and I'm going to just change the, so I just want to align this. I'm going to change the mark to, if it's greater than or equal to, is 60 to 69, yes, 60 to 74. So it's greater than or equal to 60 and less than or equal to 74. Then I'll display this part. However, I'm going to change the grade to B. Then for C, again, I'll just copy paste. All right. So this is going to be 50 and less than or equal to 59. Then the grade will be a C. And then finally, I want to undo F. So if it's between 0 and 49, I want to say it's F. 49 is such a weird mark anyway. I don't like leaving students on 49. All right. So then I can now have my else. My else is, remember, anything outside this range. And we know anything outside this range should just say something as simple as invalid paste. So I'll just say invalid mark. Because anything that is not in that range definitely is not in the scale of 0 to 100. Look at it. 0 is covered here. 100 is covered here. Can you see that? So let's try this and see how it works. F5. Wait for it. F5. This is the part where I say give me a number in the classroom. But because you can talk back at me, it's just a video, I'm just going to put 76. All right? Grade is A. It works. So I'm going to try it again and put another number, F5. So this time around, let's put 23. Grade is F. It works. Finally, let's put a number that does not exist, a number that is not a good one. So let's put 107. Invalid mark. It works. And let's finally put a number that is even less than 0. Right? Let's put minus 19, minus 10, invalid mark. So our code works perfectly well. And that's basically what you need to know about if statements. Please look at the problems we've looked at before and try to attempt the if statements in those problems. In the next video, I'm going to continue. I want to keep the video short like I always told you. See you in the next video. Boom.